Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Clap Louder. Today we are talking to our friend Taylor McAllister. She has over 100,000 followers on Instagram. She runs a business called MacFit. Awesome at-home workouts, really accessible, really fun. She has an awesome personality. I think you'll really like the show. All her information will be linked down below. And if you'd like to get in contact with us, our email is clappodcast@gmail.com. I think that's it. Enjoy the show. Welcome, Taylor, to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. As our little boy just runs back.
Oh my gosh, he's the cutest. If I could relate to the situation, this is like my life every day. I'm like kid there, kid here, trying to get it done. I get it.
So you're in the MacFit layer then right now.
I am. Do you see this setup right here? I'm like in the garage, squat racks right next to me. I was going to try to do this in the house, but little kids are running around. So I'm like, I'm just going to sneak away. This gym is like my sanctuary.
Yeah.
Like,
do you have like lighting? Do you have lighting on you right now?
I have a light set up right there.
You look great.
How I am. Look what you do.
Yeah.
I knew none of this until you.
Say that again, Taylor.
I've known none of this until you. I'm like, what do I need to do? So I've just got the one light. I usually probably would have set up all three and ghosted myself, but you taught me well.
You gotta, if you just want to make something look interesting, you only light part of it.
Whenever we're on Zoom calls, people are like, why do you guys look like that? And we're like, oh, we just have a light.
Oh, I'm like, because this is what we actually look like. And this is
Michael has like a light set up over his computer.
Oh, it's a game changer. Changer.
Totally. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the show. A little background of Taylor and our family. We met while we were both going to school at BYU, Idaho.
Yeah.
Right after we got married. So we were together in the same apartment complex. And we were taco buddies for a long time, right? We would
absolutely. Taco and movie buddies.
Yeah.
Because what else is there to do up in Idaho when it's so freezing cold in the winter time?
Right. Yeah. So there was like this little gas station that they converted into a taco place, and we would go there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The tacos were good.
They were really good.
That was probably one of my favorite places to eat.
You introduced us to those tacos, didn't you?
I think that place, because there's the taco bus that everyone loves, but then this place was like,
I think
just
it was
a little
same
further.
Owners, wasn't it?
I think same owners, yeah. So.
Oh yes, I remember you introduced us, and I was like, I don't really know if there can be good tacos up where we were in Idaho, but they were good tacos.
We
really thoroughly enjoyed them.
That's right. They were super good.
And the last time we saw you guys, when we visited you, we had tacos again.
I know.
That's just always the tradition.
It's our tradition.
Yeah.
It's tradition. It's tradition when we get together, tacos for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So, a little bit about Clap Louder this is all about creatives just talking about what they're passionate about. And obviously, as we've been friends for a long time, I've seen you develop this brand, which is MacFit, and it's just like exploded. And we, as friends, are just so proud of you. It's just cool to like see it, just see it really explode. So tell us a little bit of the history of like when you started working out and when you kind of figured out that it was your passion.
Sure. Okay. Well, just to start at the beginning, back in 2013, like before I met you guys, my freshman year of college, it was becoming wintertime in Idaho. And at that time, you can't really go outside. There's not much to do. And I was kind of running out of things to do with friends and stuff. And I just happened to meet a super cute guy. Luckily, I'm married to him at this point in time. And he was really into the gym. And up until that point, I had been, in competitive sports my whole life, but I'd never gone to the gym and been like training in any sort of way. So I knew he went. So of course, when he asked me if I go, I'm like, oh, of course I go to the gym, and I walk in there for the first time and I'm like, I don't know what any of these machines do. I don't know what I'm doing, but I went anyway, just for something to do and impress the cute guy. So I went regularly from then. I really, really enjoyed it. And I think like the competitive side of me and me growing up in sports really liked how you can set goals for yourself in exercise and fitness and, end up achieving them and like gain confidence in yourself. So, I mean, really ever since then, probably, early 2014, I have been exercising regularly. And now I've been exercising 6 days a week for years just because I genuinely love it. So I had been doing this for a long time and, noticed that a lot of friends and family, I would get questions about what I'm doing and, who enjoyed working out with me. And last year, March of 2019, I finally took the leap and put myself on Instagram, which was a big deal for me. I mean, you guys know me. I really shied away from anything on social media just because, one, it's a ton of work, but two, it feels kind of scary to put yourself out there, and I wasn't quite sure how it would be received.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was received pretty well, and so, I mean, a little over a year later, here we are. I'm on your podcast.
Yeah. So I think just to give our audience a little bit of background, you guys should definitely check her out. Everything is going to be linked down below.
Yes.
But you have over 100,000 followers, right?
Yeah.
Is that insane or what?
That's amazing.
Yes. I honestly really try not to pay too much attention to the number, because at the end of the day, like, what does that really mean? But the following grew really, really fast. And, in the beginning, I was, on YouTube looking at videos, how to grow your Instagram and, become successful as an online business, because that's what, I envisioned for myself, MacFit, to be a brand and a business to help people. And anyway, I was doing all the things, but I remember telling my husband in March, I was like, okay, my goal a year from now is to have 12,000 followers. I wanted my goal be 1,000 a month. And then all of a sudden it just was like booming. And I kind of like didn't know what to do with it. I still feel to this day like, wait, what am I doing out here?
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that just is like, I remember watching, because when you launched it, Portia and I immediately were like, yeah, we'll follow, of course,
Oh, yeah, you're so great.
And we were really excited to just like, and I remember I would see your post and I'd be like, oh, cool. And so I would check in, I'd swipe over to your profile. And like, I feel like every time I did it, I'd be like, 8,000 people? Holy cow, Taylor, way to go. And then the next time I swipe over, 20,000 people? Taylor, holy crap. And then it just like it grew and grew.
Well, your reactions are exactly how I felt. Like every time I would check in and I pick, genuinely, I was like, what is going on? And, I was doing all the things they say, like posting consistently, using the hashtags, all the above. But there's one particular ab video, if you scroll back, that has like a significantly larger amount of views than like the previous ones. So I'm assuming that one somehow made it on the Discover page and it kind of went from there. I mean,
wow.
What I think, at least for me starting the Instagram, and what I feel like people noticed about the type of workouts that I like to do, is that it's minimal equipment and it's kind of between like a solely home workout, only body weight, and like a full gym machine, barbell, the whole deal. And I kind of like to meet there in the middle, because I was finding a disconnect between, I want my workouts to be as quick and effective as it can be home. As a mom with kids, that's like what I need in my life. I don't need to be spending an hour or more in the gym, but like I still strongly believe in weightlifting to change your body composition. So I have always lived in that happy medium, and I feel like people resonated with, what I wanted. So I ended up putting it out there. And anyway, it seems, people like it, which is good. It makes me feel really good that, people are enjoing the workouts that I create.
I personally, as a mom, really love your workouts, because like you said, like, and especially right now, like we can't go to the gym.
Right.
Like we can't go to our public gym or our,
community gym.
Yeah. And so your workouts were what I did like to like my first workouts after having a baby.
Oh my gosh.
I was just so excited because I was getting back into it, because I really enjoy working out too. It just feels good. And like you said, like setting goals, even just like being like, okay, I'm gonna like run for 20 minutes and like just like pushing through the end of that is just really, like I think that's a really cool thing about working out, is like you can set long-term goals and like mini goals, so you can and it just really builds confidence. So I think
it's been great, because Taylor, it's like, let's see, how do I say this? I like lifting weights and stuff, right? But I do it to the point where I'm like, this is so dumb, but I'm like, I do the point where in my head I can go, okay, I've lifted weights now, but I I want to say I push myself, but in the back of my mind, I know I could be pushing like way harder.
Yeah.
And so Portia would bring me in. She'd be like, just come do this Taylor workout with me. So like my ego would go, oh, I bet I got it.
I've got it. Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
And then, I'm like kicking your butt.
And no, yeah, Portia's first off doing way better than me. And then you're like pregnant at one point and like kicking the crap out of me. And I am just like sweating profusely. And I'm like, I thought I went to the gym. I thought I was strong.
But what I also love about your workouts is you include a lot of like cardio along with like the what is it called, like using your body weight.
Yes. Yes.
And personally, I like stuff like that because you like more doing weights and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whereas I like to do like more cardio filled things. I don't know.
But
Yes.
Taylor,
I like to leave my workouts like sweaty, you know?
Oh,
like
same.
that's when I feel like, oh yeah, I did good. And it doesn't
if I
mean
don't sweat, I'm like, I did nothing.
I know. It's like so easy to feel that way. That's trying how I gauge it. But even though it's like you no matter what workout you do, it's a good workout. But I just with like the time that, since becoming a mom, I was like, I have legitimately, from the time I walk into the gym and I need to be out, I've got 40 minutes or less. That includes warm up, like the whole deal. So the goals that I wanted to reach for most people, which is fat loss and muscle building, I'm like, I need to throw this all in a workout, which usually includes like circuit training, high intensity interval training, a Metcon, an AMRAP, all of these things that are like going to get your heart rate up and, while still lifting weights, which also gets your heart rate up. So I'm like, I just need to get it all in one, which is, how I like to do it. And it sounds like, you as a mom and a lot of people, it's like, it's just nice to get in and out,
Yeah.
Anyway, but Michael, to your point, you are strong. Okay. You're probably just not used to jumping around all the time like I'm doing it.
Well, that's just not normally what you do with your workouts.
That's so funny. Maybe this is a little too personal, but I had like my lower back was really hurting, and I remember I went to the doctor because I thought I had pulled something or whatever, and basically she did some physical therapy with me, and the physical therapist was like, okay, and like had me do some stuff, and then she goes, you need to get some exercise, and I was like, okay, and she goes, you need to do a lot of glute work. Like a lot.
You get that booty going.
You need to work out your legs.
Exercise a lot.
You need to work out your legs like a lot. And Portia,
just because you needed more support for your back,
right? Yeah, and Portia always jokes that I've got a back with a crack in it. So it's like, I was like, so coming to you, which I feel like are very like physical, jumping, lunges, squats, like all that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's like, it just hurts so bad. It hurts so bad.
Like, my body's not ready for this, okay?
And then I'm more strong. We're like opposite because I'm really strong with my legs. Like I did soccer and running, and so I love like leg days. I'm like, yes. And then anything with arms, like I can't really do push-ups very well.
Okay, listen. One time, Portia and I were goofing around, like wrestling around and stuff. Portia got her legs underneath me and literally launched me across the room. Like I flew and hit the wall. So her legs are like freaking cannons. But,
legs of steel.
But really though. So my workout routine, I'm like, okay, 5 days a week, 3 days a week, I'll like do some like lifting weights, and then 2 days a week, I got to do some Taylor's workouts and just
plyos, getting some plyos in there,
kick my butt. So that's super cool. I thinking about, so just from an outside perspective, looking at your brand, I think everything that you said is right on, that they're really accessible, that they're minimal gear, and then I think on top of it, there are some, not all influencing is whatever works for you. Well, to some extent, don't lie to people, but I like it because a lot of fitness influencers that I follow, it seems like influencer first, then workout later. So it's more about like their popularity rather than their workouts. And that's one thing that I've loved about your channel is that you bring your personality to it, but also it's like so workout centered that it's like I can come right to your page and just go, here are the workouts, here's how to do them. And I love that. It's so like simple and like right to the point. Which is cool.
It really means a lot to me, you saying that, because my goal from beginning this page and on, I was like, I never want someone to come to my page and feel like I'm only trying to sell them something, or I'm on here for the followers, or I'm on here for any sort of, I don't know, like material or like worldly recognition. Like genuinely, I created the page to, you know, help people out and finding confidence within themselves, and just to like be in and out of their phones too. I'm like, I don't want you to sit on my page forever. I'd like you to get in your exercise and be done for the day, and like go back to your family, to your work, and get your priorities straight, you know, just like take care of yourself first and foremost. So that means a lot, you saying that. It's definitely, I've learned a hard balance with, you know, like supporting yourself and running a business and like needing to pay the bills and still being, you know, genuine, because I always want like my genuinity, is that a word?
I don't know.
to come. It sounds good,
now.
right?
This is our podcast. We can do whatever we want.
we do whatever we want. So that to come through first. So anyway, that means a lot, because it's, you know, first and foremost what I want to do. And like, of course I have 2 brands that I work with that I love and like back 100%. But at the end of the day, like, you know, MacFit is what it is just because I want to help people. So that really means a lot. And feedback like that, honestly, like makes it all worth it. I mean, you guys know, you guys have like 1,000 things you're doing. It feels like, I feel like you're on TikTok, you're doing the podcast, you're running YouTube and Instagram. It's like, I don't know how you do it all. And it's a lot of work to do it all. And so anyway, like hearing you guys say that, and like the messages that I get saying like, hey, you know, the workout really helped me, I'm seeing results, like those absolutely make it, you know, all the work worth it.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I think that's really cool. I think I'm obsessed with online content. I just love it. And I love
kill it. So
thank you. I really appreciate that. And that's an honor to me because you are killing it right now. So no, I love online content, and I love but it is a balance. And from what I've heard from other creators is that it's like, because you do the math, you know, and people like you Google like, well, how much is an ad read for like a, you know, like a influencer or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, it's X amount of dollars. Then you're going, oh my gosh, they get X amount of dollars every post. You're like, no, like the thing is like, you have to curate 15 posts before you even mention a brand. And then when you do mention a brand, everyone's like, I can't believe you sold out to a brand, you know?
Oh my gosh.
So it's like this, you have to like keep, well, I should let you say all this, but it seems like you have to keep your authenticity while still, you know, bringing in
100% authenticity. That's the word I was thinking of, and genuinity.
Genuinity is
still,
I think
still wondering if it's real. We'll check up on it later, but authenticity. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, 100%. And this is something that I didn't anticipate struggling with so much. So, you know, just coming into it, starting in March, I had grown so fast to the point that, you know, my business email was like overflowing with people like, hey, sign this contract, work with me, this and that. And while like, I'm so grateful for it, it was like, oh wait, like, who do I choose? Like, what do I go with? And, you know, with people that I work with, I always want to make sure they're long-term relationships and that like my values align with them. So it took like a lot of sifting through for me to find, you know, the companies that I like working with. And for me, like from a fitness standpoint, I always felt like, you know, eventually I wanted to work with a supplement company and an activewear company. And honestly, that's really it. Like, first of all, I can't handle more. Second of all, I didn't really want any more.
Yeah.
And anyway, so it took a long time to find companies that you want to work with, and, you know, to make sure like I'm supporting myself, I'm supporting these people who have these small businesses, because that's great to do. But, you know, first and foremost, like be the brand that I want to be and give people, you know, the help that they need. So it's definitely a balance, and one that I didn't anticipate being, you know, so difficult, because before the page, sometimes you look at people like you said, and you're like, this is just like money first, ad, hashtag ad. It's like, you know, overwhelming. So anyway, it's definitely a delicate balance. So hats off to everyone that's been doing it forever. I still feel like I'm learning, you know.
I will say yours does feel very genuine, because we talked about this in another podcast with Olivia, but how I actually really like, I know a lot of people will be like, oh, you're selling out. Like, they hate when people have ads or brand deals and stuff. I love them because I'm like, if I'm following someone, I'm like, I'm very interested in what they do. But I do definitely, I don't appreciate it when it feels like that they don't really like know about the product, or I'm like, I don't think they actually use that, you know? And so it's fun to see on your stories, like you're always wearing the clothes and they're like, they seem like they're really good quality. I haven't tried them out, but we want to also try like your, like the vitamins you've been using, and like you're always putting stuff on your story and you're actually showing that you're using them. And I think that's really important, because I think you can tell when it's just like
it's authentic. It's authentic.
Thank you. Well, and let me say this too, like even before going, you know, thinking about brands, like obviously that was a dream of mine and something that sounded great to go along with, you know, an Instagram page where companies that I like to work with and to support them and support myself. But I do want to put this out there. At the end of the day, you can work out in a cotton t-shirt, maybe even naked. You'll still get a good workout in, right? Like you don't need the clothes. And like supplement wise, if you're eating whole foods, you don't really need supplements, you know? So it's like all of those things they're so great to have. And I'm so grateful to work with these companies. And I do use these things every single day. But I do want to say, like, at the end of the day, like health, it really is like so simple. And I think it gets overcomplicated so much with, you know, all the brands and this and that. Like the supplement world is like, holy crap, overwhelming. And, you know, at the end of the day, like, do we really absolutely need them? No. Are they great to have? 100%. So anyway, I just need to say that too.
No, I appreciate that. It is interesting. It is interesting though, because I feel like Portia and I talk about this when we have a good gym outfit, it makes you want to go to the gym.
Oh, you bet.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you.
I have good fitting clothes.
I totally agree with you 100%.
Like, okay, let me see how my squat looks in the mirror. Like, I know, I get it.
No, so I totally get that, but at the same time, to be able to provide a company that you believe in, that has a good reputation, yada yada, has a good product, that you're able to promote that, I think gives people like us going like, okay. I don't know. I feel like Portia got me, this is so silly, but Portia got me these workout leggings. And I don't know, they like made me feel like an athlete. And so I would put them on and I'd be like, I'm going to the gym, man.
Yeah, because I got them when it was really cold.
Yeah.
You'd like walk over to the gym. You're like, I wanted something to.
That was another thing too. I hated walking because it's like a block to the gym that our apartment complex has. And it was really cold in the mornings. It's so lame. I live in Southern California. It's fine. But
just very quickly, I know exactly how you feel. 50 degrees weird, coats on. Absolutely.
Right. But anyway, putting on those leggings, I was like, okay, we're in it, man. Like, let's do it. So I think that's cool. And same with supplements too. Like after a workout, to be able to listen, I know I can eat a steak or eat a bunch of beans and get a bunch of protein, but it's nice to feel like, hey, like this is like a supplement that's like helping me, and it just makes you feel.
And it's just the convenience factor of them is like really what it is at the end of the day. Like protein meal replacement shakes, like I would never be able to hit like my protein goals without a protein butter. I'd have to, oh my gosh, it'd just be so much work, you know? So it's just like the convenience factor of it. And also with like, you know, just the supplement company. Oh, do you hear Hugh knocking at the door?
No,
just heard it.
And then Charles screamed.
No, I didn't hear him.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, it's the convenience factor of it. And, you know, along with supplements, like the ones that I focus on is like a multivitamin and then like greens and reds, because at the end of the day, like my approach to fitness still is so simple. I'm like, really, you've just got to start in really simple habits during the day that honestly will change your life. And like taking a multivitamin, helping from the inside out, and like eating your fruits and vegetables, like those things will literally change your life. And so stuff like that, I'm so into, and I'm like a nerd with supplements. Let's be real. Like all of that stuff is like so interesting to me. I could nerd.
Well, it's your passion. It's your passion.
Yeah.
And that's why people come to you for answers, because you're like, okay, well, she's passionate about it. She's already done all the work for me. I don't need to research any of this.
No, I think that's what's cool is like, like when I first ever went to the gym, it's like I used to go to like the community center like when I was growing up, you know, and I would just kind of like do a couple reps, like kind of like watch people. Cause I'm like,
Yes.
I don't know, you know, and
Yes.
like, when we were younger, I felt like there weren't a lot of people that were creating like Instagrams or YouTube videos. It's like, you had to get a personal trainer.
Yes.
And it was like, I remember wanting to do that, but I was like, well, I'm like in high school. Like, I don't have money to do that, you know?
Right.
And I just was
Right.
like you, I just did sports, but I didn't really know how to work out. And so it's fun to be able to go to someone on Instagram or YouTube and like it's all like there for you. You don't have to like go search for somebody. You don't have to like subscribe to a gym.
Yes.
You know, get a gym
and
membership.
doesn't that rock too? Because like I like just thinking of this crazy pandemic and you know everyone's mental health is being talked about right now, which obviously it's like should be at the forefront of all of our minds. Like we should be taking care of ourselves in any form that, you know, takes care of our bodies and our minds and emotionally and all the above. And like fitness is, you know, a huge part of that, like eating foods that will make you feel good and like release good hormones and, you know, just make you happy, and exercise, which take care of your physical health, but also your mental health. Like I tell people all the time, like workout's my therapy. When people are like, how are you still like working out so pregnant? I'm like, cause if I didn't, I would like lose my mind. Like my husband would not know what to do with me. You know, it's like, it's just like, it makes you feel good. And that's what's so cool about just like being online. And when I jumped into it, I was like, this is so accessible now, right? Like you can go online and see exercises and get a 15-minute thing done. So I'm like, there's no excuse anymore, right? It's like all at your fingertips, which is so cool because it's just taking care of yourself, you know? And I feel like especially during this time, it's so important too. And I love that like a lot of people that are personal trainers online have like worked really hard to, you know, put content out there that like is for free and just like really helping people out, because, you know, that's really what we're all needing is just to take care of ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that. I feel like it's cool because, and I'm going to kind of put this into like, so yes, talking about workouts and being accessible. I personally love, as far as content creation and like doing narrative short films or just movies or stuff like that. Yeah, Hollywood films take a lot of gear and they take a lot of crew and stuff like that. But at the same time, somebody can film a video on their phone, put it on YouTube, and it can get millions and millions and millions of views. And I love the fact that there's no middleman. It's like, I am the creator, here's the following, and I'm going to give you, and I'm going to go for
public, done, totally.
Right.
Yeah.
And that you let the market decide, really, because there's so much, like, especially in Hollywood, and it's still here and it's still part of the ecosystem of Hollywood, but you've got to go to producers and you've got to go to, you know, these people and these networks and, you know, do you approve of this? And it has to be seen by 100 different people before they're like, yeah, I guess we'll give it a shot. But like, so to be able to just create and then to post is so cool. I love that. Yeah.
Well, and you guys especially, I think my favorite one of your TikTok videos today is when Shiloh's in the bath splashing and then it turns to you and you're just sitting there like getting soaked, because I relate to that so hard, you know, like kid life, I'm constantly like holding up the towel like my hair's done, you know. Like it's so, anyway, you guys are, like I said, so amazing at creating content. All the stuff you do is hilarious.
Thank you.
Yeah, there really is just, it's crazy how easy it can be, you know, like I'm sure it didn't take a lot of equipment to get that video done, like a phone, you know, like a great video like that. And anyway, sometimes I get messages from people like, I just started a page, or I want to start one. I don't really know what to do. And I'm like, go for it. You know, like, I feel like there's so much room still to be online. And like, while I feel when I began, I'm like, I'm so late to the party. Like, there's no way, you know, this is going to take so long to become like a successful, like sustainable job for me. And like, what, like, look what happened, you know, like, I work really hard, but at the end of the day, like there's room for everybody to be online, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Cause I think I felt this way, and I'm sure so many people, like when I wanted to start vlogging, I was like, well, vlogging's been around forever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's not, but it's like, yeah, like you just said, like there's
late to the
for
game or
everyone.
something.
Like everyone just try. Like it's
Yes.
not, you know,
Yes.
like it's not gonna be, I don't know, nothing bad can happen, you know?
Right.
Like just try it.
If you ever want to, like,
What do you want to do?
I think it's interesting when people are like, oh, I don't know, the market's so saturated right now. It's like, no, you just haven't niched down enough. Because there are so many nooks and crannies of the internet. Like, if you want, you know, like, for instance, I've just been getting into, like, musical instruments and stuff like that, right? And specifically, like, drum machines or whatever. And
okay,
wait.
Also, by the way, you have an amazing voice.
Oh,
when you were singing in your, what was it was like, the caption was like, I think we have a gas leak or something like that. And I'm like, okay, Michael, just like using bars. It was so
thank you. No, that's very nice of you.
Michael's the singer.
Portia hated that one because okay, here's the story behind that.
Behind the scenes.
And then I'll finish what I was saying.
Tell me, behind the scenes.
No, here's the story is that I really did that one time. Like, I will, Portia hates it, but I will, like, not hate it, but I will burst into songs sometimes.
Okay.
Or I'll start things like, hey, Portia, did
you
know,
make it all serious?
Hey,
I'm like,
but really quick, though, did you know that I'm bringing sexy back? Yeah, you know, and I'll try to do that.
Yeah.
So one day I was like, Portia, did you ever know that you're my hero? You know, and did the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's make a TikTok where we're, like, singing back and forth, right?
Because we also do that too, where we're just being insane.
But we only have one camera and a baby. So one person is, like, literally holding Shiloh with the camera and, like, and filming me. Mm-hmm. And then we switch it around and I'm holding the camera and filming Portia.
Yeah.
And so we didn't get the key right. So I sang in one key. And then I was like, I think it's in this key, Portia. And so Portia
we listened and we're like, okay, I think this is the right.
Yeah, this is the right.
You're sitting there like.
So really, then Portia started to sing that key, and, like, I'm going, oh yeah, I'll just put it together and post, and it'll work. And they were, like, completely the wrong keys. And then
I didn't want him to post it.
And then when I was watching it, when I was watching it, I was just dying laughing because it's so bad.
Here's the fun. I love that you guys will be on camera together. My husband will. You know how many times I've been like, you know, like waiting around a corner or like I'm like filming something like on my stories and he's in the background. He's like, delete that. Like he hates being on camera. Hates it. Like what did I post? We had just finished filming a YouTube video. And when we do that, we have all the lights set up. I'm like in this little, you know, nook and it's a YouTube live. So I really try to get those in like one take because editing them's kind of a pain because I'm like between exercises. I mean, I'm sure you could do this a lot more smoothly than I can, but we don't have any experience. So I'm like trying to get it done.
Wait, to edit live?
Well, so like with the live workouts, like a full length one. When I try to do the extras, like the whole workout in one take, otherwise, my YouTube channel. And it's just sometimes we mess up and like editing. I'm like, they are not getting that long of a rest. I had to cut down those seconds in there. And anyway, besides the point. So he sits in the corner over here, like with the camera, and he has to like start and stop. He has my little timer that I look at, and he's just like all being quiet over there, so I don't have to, you know, mess with the audio anyway. And so I'm like, why don't you just like come say hi in a video or something? And he's like, no, will not do it. So the day you see Dave McAllister on camera, that will be a big day for MacFit because he's like, I'm going to be behind the scenes for life. Anyway, I'm like, you two are so cute that you're on together. I love seeing you both on there.
You're probably like being on camera too much. It's probably
No, it's honestly like, and I'll be completely square with you. Like, Shiloh is carrying around our fine china right now, but that's his life. Good. No, I love creating, but I realize though that I don't like just being behind the camera. I like being in front of it. It's fun. And that you mentioned singing. I was actually a voice major for 2 semesters when I went to college. No, I was, but then I was sitting in a practice room for like 6 hours a day, and I go, this is not what I want for the rest of my life.
Right.
You know, what I want is to perform. And then, but I had this kind of background with video and anyway. So really when I think, it's not so much of like the vanity of like, look how I look. To me, it's like a performance thing.
Fun. Yeah. And I did,
theater
in high school as well, and I've always been interested in that too. So
it's
I
like
love it shows because you guys are so talented. Is it funny? Okay, so when I first went to college, I was like, okay, I'm gonna become a PA. Like, I'm gonna be a physician's assistant. I'm like super into science. I totally got this. I go, and then like my first Anat and Phys semester, I was like, I don't think this is gonna happen for me. Went down. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be a nurse. That's what I'm gonna do now. And the nursing program at BYUI is insane. So trying to apply for that, my counselor is pretty much like looking at my grades this far. She was like, no. I'm like, okay, scratch that. What's next? Then I was like, okay, I'm going to become a hygienist. So I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. Like, I'll still into the science route. I think it'll be great, pays well. And then I go and I was a dental assistant for like 6 months while my husband and I were living in Utah temporarily. And then I was sitting there and I was like, I mean, nothing to, offend any hygienists out there, but I was like, it's literally the same thing over and over and over. You just clean people's teeth over and over. So I scratched that too. And like, just looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, like all of these majors. Anyway, so I ended up graduating public health, which I love. And I did worksite wellness for like about 3 years. Anyway, It's funny to look back at what you studied. My husband was an accountant. Now he's doing, or accounting major. Now he's doing real estate, It's just like, who knows?
Yeah. I can't remember the statistic, but I feel like some crazy amount of people like are not doing what they got their degry in.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think that's good though. I remember being nervous, like when I was in college, my friends would be like, I was really grateful because they're like my parents like don't really support what I'm wanting to do.
Shiloh, that's really noisy.
And I feel like my parents were very supportive with whatever we wanted to do in our majors. And even like I was looking for stuff after like work wise, and I wasn't really finding anything in my major. And I remember my dad being like, you don't feel constricted to that because it's like things can change like your whole life, like
oh my gosh, yes.
My dad was in a career for like years and then their stuff shut down. So he had to find something else. So it's like, you can go to school for something and then have your career be that, and that might change, So I've always,
to that point, like with things changing, I did worksite wellness forever. I worked remotely. I've always been used to working at home. I have since before I had kids, and I've just done the working mom life. And I loved public health, and the fitness page like came a lot later, right? So I was still working while I had the fitness page, and I thought, you know what, like it would be awesome if this could end up being something that I could do full time, but like who knows, right? Like that's probably really far down the road. And I mean, look what happened in a year, and all of a sudden I was juggling. I mean, not juggling. I was like fumbling, like the job and like the Instagram and being a mom and a wife. And it was like, oh my gosh, last year, 2019 was crazy town by the end with like how much I was working. I was like, oh, I'm so overworked right now. And anyway, I took the leap of faith and it ended up working out really well. So you really just never know like what's going to come into your lap. And I just think, as long as you're willing to work really hard and if you're passionate about it, like it will work out. But it really comes down to like, sometimes you've got to bust your butt. And sometimes like, I'm really not sleeping a lot. But if you love it and at the end of the day, you work hard, it should work out for you.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Shiloh wants to put his shoes on.
Oh, Shiloh knows that if he puts his shoes on, that means we're going outside. Yeah. But
he's like, I've got places to go. All right, Mom and Dad, we're about done with it.
Go on a walk real quick.
I feel like I feel like I'm pretty hard on myself with things, and I'm always wanting to know, like, am I doing what I'm supposed to? Am I doing what I'm supposed to? And the thing is, it's like you never figure it out. You go your whole stinking life, and you never figure out what you're gonna do. You never figure out what's your passion. It's like a moving target. You're trying to figure it out. And so like for me, it was like, oh, I really love the creativity with music and that's what I love. And then I was like, wait a minute, maybe I don't love that as much, but I do love visuals a lot. And then it was like visuals. And then it was like, I don't know. So it's like to be able to be open to what God or the universe or whatever you want to call it, higher power has to offer.
Sure.
what is put in front of you, you know, the whole thing where it's like God closes a window or closes a door and opens a window kind of thing.
Yes.
Like I've found too that I am learning that you can continue to learn like as you grow, because I think sometimes we're like, well, I didn't go to school for this, or I didn't learn this. Like I'm starting this new job that I've never had any experience with.
Yes.
And so it's like, you can be any age and learn a new skill or learn a new craft, and like
100%.
And that's totally fine.
It's just if you're willing to work hard, you know, like so there's this guy, Jesse Itzler. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he is like fantastic. He has owned and sold many businesses. He's multimillionaire. He's married to Sarah. Oh shoot, this is embarrassing that I don't know her name now. I'm like, I love them. She's the owner of Spanx. Anyway, so they're like power couple to the max. But he has he was on a podcast just talking about like, look, you've got to be willing to like walk into situations that you are ill prepared for, and like that is life. But if you're willing to go for it, like you can make it happen. Like I have no business being on YouTube making all these videos and stuff, like this light even back here. So my brother, they're his, and I just borrow them. He has a baby shoe company, does shooting for and stuff. And anyway, he brought the lights over, and he was like, okay, yeah, just set these up probably in these places. And I'm like looking at the site, like I literally don't even know like how to like plug this in or like turn it on. Like it was like so overwhelming opening up iMovie for the first time. Oh my gosh. I sat editing my first video probably took me like 2 hours just for a workout video. It's not like I was like putting in clips and all this stuff, but like I had no idea what I was doing. It took me forever. Yeah. And my husband just kept saying like, it's just the first time. It's just the first time. It's just the first time. And you know, that really rang true. Even to recording my Instagram videos, I can literally now bang out probably 6 workouts in an hour, like in the gym, like recording all. Like I've got it down. So it's just, but the first time I did that, recording one video, and if you look back at my old ones, you're like, oh my gosh, Taylor, you've come a long way, even just in a year, you know? So it's, the learning curve can be tricky, but I mean, you've just got to be willing to work hard. And if you love it, you go for it. So anyway, it's worked out this far for me. There's been a lot of bumps in the road, but it's all right.
I completely agree with that. I also think, I've said this before on the podcast, but I'll say it again. I think creating always trumps not creating. So even if it's not something, even if it's not something that's like amazing, or it takes you 6 hours to edit or whatever, like the fact that you are making something, you got your butt off the couch, you got your butt out of the inertia of not moving or not doing anything. And you, which being in the workout world, I'm sure you know all about that. But creatively, you're just like, how many times have you heard the phrase, oh yeah, I want to do that. Or I want to do that later. I want to learn how to play guitar. Or I want to do, it's like, but it's only up to us to make the decision. That
I'm like the queen of that.
It's up to us to make the decision.
Like me. That's my mood. I know.
Oh, I cannot tell you how many times I told Portia, I'm going to have a 6-pack by summer, honey. Wait
You've
for
said
it.
that our entire marriage, and we've been married for almost 5 years
and
now.
Guess how many times I've had a 6-pack? So it's, you know.
For the listeners, he held up.
I held up a big old goose egg. But, so I totally believe that, you know, creating is hard, but it's good. And also, like you said, you're going to get a little less sleep, but like, that's life.
I know.
I used to be so precious about my sleep. Like, oh, I don't know, I can't get up that early. And then I had a kid and I was like, nah, I can do it.
Yeah, yes, you are. That is what, oh my gosh. After having Hugh, like going through, I mean, okay, this is just to be real here with you guys and everyone listening. Like, newborn mom life is so hard on me. Oh. Like, I thought, you know, he was a hard baby. He had reflux, and like learning to overcome that and like not end up like feel like I'm going to check myself into a crazy place. And for all those, you know, mental health issues, I'm not like trying to not get those. Those are real and it's true. But I literally was like, this what might like break me. You know, it was so tough. And like, again, with Van, like I'm kind of in that, I'm barely seeing the light out of that stage, but he's still like 3 months old this month. And it's tough. But like after coming out of that, now like when Hugh became a toddler, like before I got pregnant with Van, I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like a freaking superwoman. Like I cannot believe that that was really hard, you know, but I got through it and I learned how to like time management became so much better. Like, yes, I can function on lack of sleep. Maybe I'm drinking a little more caffeine than usual. That's okay. You know, but it's really crazy when you look back on, you know, years and things you go through that were really tough. Like, you know, when I was working 2 jobs and being a mom, and like now that I'm in newborn life again, like the second time around this has become like a lot less overwhelming for me than it was with Hugh. I mean, even though it's still tough, like babies are so hard for me. I thrive in the toddler life. It's just, I mean, the reality.
Just the reality. So hard. We didn't really drink much caffeine until having a baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And then after that, I was like,
you've got to get things done, you know? Yep. Hey, I don't knock it. I don't judge it.
After having a baby, I was like, hello, darkness, my old So I wanted to say something. Oh, sorry. I just interrupted the flow of all that. But I was just thinking in my head about something. For me, it was like a math equation. It was like, okay, I want to spend time with my family. So what like time management? For time management. Yeah. So I was like, okay. So as far as passions and stuff go, I was like, okay, I want to spend time with my family. So I get off work, let's say 5:30. I drive home. It's now 6:15. It's like, now I have this time before Shiloh goes to bed. And I'm like, now, do I have any time in there to do my passion? And I always would feel guilty doing that, you know, because I'm sitting over here at the computer while Portia's playing with my son while he's awake. It just felt wrong. Right. I remember telling my dad about that, and he goes, you know what I used to do, Michael? He goes, I know you guys make fun of me, but I always wake up at the crack of dawn. And he goes, because I could peek into your room, and you were sound asleep, and your mother was asleep. And he goes, and I knew that you were safe, that I wasn't missing anything, but that I was doing what I was passionate about too. And I think after hearing him tell me that story, I was like, I can wake up early for my passion. And if that's what it means to get an hour or two in before everybody wakes up. And if I'm a little tired, then if that's what it takes for me to do my passion, then it's like, well, let's do it, you know?
Oh my gosh. I back that 100%. My goal, my husband has always woke up early. He likes to exercise before work. So he was a 5 a.m. waker-upper for years. Yeah. And I could never understand how he did it until I had Hugh, and I could not figure out how to work out, take care of him, be a good mom, also get my work done like all in a day. And he was like, I really think you should start waking up with me. He's like, I'm already doing it. So you have someone to, you know, help you get out of bed, and we can just go and get it done. And that's when our home gym was born. When we moved into this place, and we were like, we're going to make their garage a gym. We're going to wake up early. We're going to exercise. He's like, you can get like 40 minutes of work done before Hugh's up, and then like you can start your day. And so I started waking up at 5 a.m. every single day. I mean, it wasn't that long ago. I'm not going to toot my own horn because it really wasn't that. It was, I think it was the beginning of 2019. I did it for a year until I just had Van. Now 5 a.m. is not happening at this moment, but
you gotta live. You gotta
get some rest. Yeah, mom.
Yeah.
But it changed my life though. Like waking up at 5 a.m. I got so much done. I really would get in a workout, maybe even meditate 5 minutes, and then like get some work done. And I was so productive. I found so much more time in my day to like be a good mom. And for me also, like to each his own with moms out there, like how you balance your mornings. But there was something for me about being up like before Hugh that I could like be present for him when he woke up. Cause I still to this day, like if I'm ever caught waking up like with my kids, I struggle so much harder to like get going. You know, there's something about like both of you just like in your pajamas, like, oh my gosh, I like can't get out of bed yet.
No, it's so true. I relate to that for sure.
Yes. Like 5 a.m. changed my life. Anyway, I'm genuinely like excited to finally be able to like sleep train Van when he's just a little bit older and like get back to, you know, a more consistent routine. Cause even to this day, I'm still juggling. Like I try to be up before 7 every day, but it's still, you know, you just never know what you're going to get with the little things.
Well, and
kudos to you. I'm like, I'm not a morning person, but I agree with what you're saying of like, I mean, this is kind of like us talking about being parents, you know, but like I'm kind of like that at night. Like, because Michael and Shiloh are morning people. Okay. I am not a morning person.
Sure.
But at night, it's like, they'll go to bed and I'm like, I'll stay up and like read or take a bath or just kind of like settle.
Yes.
Because I like need to have my time.
Oh, yes.
To be able to be my own person.
Yes.
To clear my mind or like prep for the next day and be like, okay, you know.
Totally.
Yes.
And I think it allows you to free up space in your mind to be more creative. And I know it's hard. Waking up early is hard. It's a sacrifice. But
I mean, it's never easy. 5 a.m. rolls around, you're never like popping out of bed. Like it's just not gonna happen. But like the pros outweighed the, you know, cons for me. And luckily, like Dave he's always gotten up at that time, so it worked out for us. But you know, like when it comes to, you know, if you're dreaming big, like sometimes you've got to sacrifice some time and it, you know, and sleep, and it is what it is, but it pays off is the thing.
Totally. Well, before we finish, because we're getting a little short on time, I wanted to go back to what we were talking about niching down and how there's like a bunch of niching down.
I think that's like niche.
Just niching down. No, niching down. There's so many nooks and crannies of the internet, and I remember I always pitched my dad's kind of like my business manager. I always pitched I'm like, all right, Dad, I got this idea for a podcast.
I love that.
And like, it's like this. And he always goes, don't go wide, Michael. Go try to take that category and go deep with it. Like
listen to that wisdom. Yeah.
Right. So
Klapp.
So with that being said, I just really am honored to talk to you. Because I feel like you've been able to do that. You've been able to find a lot of success, being yourself, and finding an audience that really is interested in your content, which I think is amazing.
Well, thank you. I genuinely, like, I appreciate it. It's still, like, the fact that you're asking me to come on and, like, talk about what I do, I'm still sitting here kind of like, this is a little crazy, you know? Like, I still looking at my page, like, I really... You know, when people say like, oh my gosh, no one loves what they do. And I love it. Like, I love creating workouts, and, you know, maybe the social media thing can be like a little hard for me sometimes, but like I'm on there because I love creating workouts and like taking care of yourself, like easy to do. I love it. So anyway, I appreciate hearing that because, you know, I really do try to like work hard on, you know, providing content and good things for people and like just make it accessible and easy to see and like have fun doing it. You know, I don't think it doesn't need to be so serious. You know, I don't need to run around in skimpy clothing and like just be all about the body, you know, it doesn't need to be like that. Like, let's just get in a good workout, get in and out and get on with your day. So anyway, that's really nice of you to say.
Yeah. Well, I feel like just exactly what you said too, that is more a follower based, or that is more an influencer based approach. To run around in skimpy outfits is like that you're there, and nothing wrong with that, but you know, just like that's a different way to influence. Whereas you are more into just like getting right to it with the workouts and stuff, which I think is really cool. So overall, I feel like. And go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I just, you know, it's difficult. It's difficult with the fitness industry because I feel like, you know, as you know, a follower looking back before I made a page, it felt like if I go on someone's page, like, okay, I'm going to look at their body first. Like, do I resonate with the body? And like, am I going to envy that or like compare myself to that? And my first thought when making this page, like, I never, ever, ever want someone to come onto my page and think like, how do I exactly look like Taylor, because you will never look like me, because I will never look like you, you know, like our bodies will never be the same. And so I don't ever want like the physical aspect to be like a forefront of my page. Cause while of course everyone wants to look good, like that's just an amazing bonus of working out. But you know, fitness and exercising, there's so much more than like just like having nice muscles. So you know, while people look really great, I'm like, I'll never be like the most jacked girl on Instagram or, you know, have the nicest this or that. But like, that's not, for me, that wasn't ever really important. And so I hope people can feel like, you know, making fitness and exercise goals, like it's more than just like looking at yourself a certain way. It's how you feel.
I love
that.
Not to
get all mushy gushy, but that is how I feel.
No. I love that because it is so easy to lose. I find myself, so like I'll joke with Portia sometimes because she'll be like, oh, I just don't like the way I look today. And I'm like, come on, honey, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. And then I'll go step in front of the mirror and be like, gosh, you are fat. Oh, man. You need to work out. Where is that six pack you were talking about? You know, like just being so rude to myself.
I know.
And I'm just like, I feel like there's a big push nowadays for self-love. Yeah. And I think that's part of working out too, is like, no, I love myself enough to take care of my body.
100%.
To take care of that. So I love the mushy gushy, Taylor. It's good. It's good.
We are all about the mush.
Yeah, we are all about the mushy gushy. So I just wanted to wrap this up. I've learned so much today, Taylor. Basically, what really stands out to me from this conversation, not only is it cool everything that you've talked about as far as fitness goes, but also just as far as your brand goes, is that you were passionate about something and you chased it, and you fought for it, and
you've become very successful.
And you found success in that. And I think to our listeners, if there's something to take away from this, I would say find what you're passionate about. Just like get it down to the very to the very point and just go, how far niche can I get it? And then just like put your heart and soul into that, and the world will reward you.
Absolutely. I really believe that.
Me too. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. I want to stay and talk forever. It's nice to have some more adult contact in my life right now.
All right, Taylor. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you'd like to get in contact with us, our email is klapppodcast@gmail.com. See you next week.